a point short. I'm proud of the effort of the kids. Obviously, we made way too many mistakes on defense, couldn't tackle. Ball got behind us several times. Not a very good defensive performance, obviously. I was proud of KJ Jefferson. The offense, they kept answering the call. Basically, the difference in the games, we put the ball on the ground once and missed a field goal, and they didn't. And, of course, obviously, we didn't convert on a 2-point. But I'm proud of our kids. I like the grit and the fight that they had offensively coming back to score there at the end of the game. And I had told them on that last drive, if we score with little to no time left on the clock, that we're going to go for 2 and make it. And I love the play call. We had three options there and on the play, and we just didn't convert it. So with that, I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Tom, get us going.
Sam, you covered a lot of it right there, but just why do you think Ole Miss had such a big offensive day?
I really don't know. A bunch of it was early time we didn't tackle. We any open field tackle, we couldn't get a guy on the ground, and that includes corral. We that was by far our poorest day tackling. And then when we had some busts in the secondary and guys were wide open, and then we couldn't fill the gap from the safety area on a simple little stretch play. And so I'm not positive why. I thought we had a really good, physical week of practice. We went good on good a lot. But the bottom line is we had too many mistakes defensively, and we couldn't tackle.
Could you speak to KJ's play overall, and then the touchdown pass with 1 second left, how clutch that was for him in your offense?
Yeah, I thought he overthrew it, to be honest with you, when it was in the air, and then went up and caught it. And that was a great drive, to go down. We had the 6 seconds on the clock, and then ended up with 1, but it was really a well executed 2-minute drive by the offense. And I wish the results were different, but I think I'd do it probably 100% of the time in the situation that we were in. Ole Miss was just scoring. We were too, but they were scoring easily, and we had to work for a little bit of ours, but theirs were coming whenever, in bunches and a bunch of yards. So I thought that's what I wanted to do, and we just didn't convert it. But I was very proud of KJ. He's a competitive son of a gun, ran the ball well and threw it.
Trey Biddy.
Yeah, hey, Coach. I was curious about the last play, the 2-point call. What were you trying to get going there? And obviously it went to Burks.
Originally, you have a pitch, so you have a pitch, and then you have a route, and then you have option of the quarterback to keep the ball, and I liked the play. I liked it all week. Our offense was ready for it, and basically, we felt like the pitch was there. I don't know if it was or not. I had to go back and look at the tape where we thought we could score just pitching the ball out there. And the end, our read did not go out. So he came straight up the field and got in our face a little bit, probably. I don't know. I had to look at it and see if we should have pitched the ball or not on that. But it was just a 3-option loaded front offensively, and weren't able to execute it.
And what did you say to the team after the game? So much before that last play, but what do you say when it comes down to something like that?
Anytime you have one way or the other, you're always concerned about team morale, when one side does so well and the other doesn't. but we made mistakes on offense too. You know, we put the ball on the ground, we missed a field goal on the, you know, on special teams. And there's a lot of reasons why you win or lose games. But I just told them, man, we got to stay together. I mean, we got Auburn coming into town. We haven't lost a game at home. You know, that would be a really nice goal for us. We still are have a lot to play for this year, and I just said we have to stay together. Well, obviously, we've got, and I pointed out that, you know, we didn't tackle well and had some blown coverages and things of that nature, and just pointed out that we don't want to point fingers. We want to stay a team, and I'm sure we will. And you know, obviously, we have a good Auburn team next week. So I told them, you know, we just got to get back home and work hard and get better.
Let me know if you've got questions in the chat. Hutch.
Coach, I think there were only 36 seconds left there at the end of the half. But you had all your timeouts. What was the mindset for that drive? And it looked like you considered going for the field goal before the Hail Mary. Could you walk us through that decision?
Well, it's a mindset that goes through any 2 minutes with not much time. You start with, where are you? You know, which I believe was on the 25. And then, you know, you go, okay, well, we're seven down, and let's run the ball and see if we can, you know, make some yards rushing the football. And if we can, then, you know, we'll go into 2-minute mode. The kick, there was wind, a little bit of wind in our face, and I was going to have him kick that, which would have been a 57, 58 yarder. But when they put a guy back there to return it, there was a little bit more wind than what I wanted. I think he's probably more comfortable around 52, 53, I think today was, but the wind kicked up, so it might have been closer to 50 that direction. But if they wouldn't have put a guy back there, I would have went ahead and kicked it. But since they did, I was nervous that we wouldn't, you know, have you know, if we missed it, that they'd have an opportunity to return it with not a whole lot of small skill, you know, skill on the field. So that's what I decided to do, call timeout and throw the Hail Mary, which, you know, had an opportunity to score as well.
And Rocket, he'd shown some flashes leading up to this game. He had 139. What did you think of his performance today?
They ran tough. You know, they stood him up. They stripped the ball from him there on our sideline, which, you know, he hasn't done a whole lot. He's been, you know, he's protected the ball well. And other than that, I thought he was really tough. You know, he's getting better. He's a guy everybody in the room can count on. And you know, he averaged 9 yards, a little over 9 yards a carry, and just a tough young kid that's going to be a really, really good player for us and put it out on the line. And you know, just because you lose a game doesn't mean that there's not some players that, like you're mentioning, that didn't have a heck of a game and didn't, you know, the effort was outstanding. You know, just because you lose a game doesn't mean that you didn't play hard. You know, sometimes you make mistakes because you can't tackle and you can't cover. That's basically what happened today.
Trey Schapp.
Coach, you guys stopped them on that fourth, I believe it was 1, maybe 2
Yeah.
there in the third quarter. And
Mm-hmm.
then you guys went down the field and had to settle for the field goal there. What happened on that drive?
Well, they stopped us on 3rd down and we kicked a field goal. I mean, I don't know every play of the game. There was 93 plays. All I know is that I think we tried to throw it maybe early. I remember talking to the guys about, hey, they can't stop us running the football. And I believe we threw it on 1st down, and we may have thrown it 2 out of the 3 and ended up short. And I know it was like 3rd and 4 or 5 or something like, 4th and 4 or 5. And it was just too far to try to go for it. And I knew we'd tie the game up. I was, you know, obviously like you are and everybody else, disappointed that we didn't convert right there and score a touchdown, but at least we tied it up, and we'd had a lot more momentum, obviously, if we'd have scored. But I believe we threw it on that first play, and we, you know, we were running the ball kind of at will.
Alyssa.
Coach, this is the most we've seen of Trey Knox this year, just his contribution in the game and getting him more involved in the game plan. What'd you like today?
Well, I think, with Trey, our feeling was that he was going to go in an alternate series. He was going to be in the second series, and that's what happened. He's alternating. Now, he got bummed up a little bit with the ankle, but other than that, he's earned the right to play, and I think he'll help us, there. And I think he helped us today, and we've got to gain a little bit more weight with him, and he'll be he's a very willing blocker, very knowledgeable, really, really smart guy. And so I think he'll help us there. I think he'll be one of the tight ends for our future as well.
Yeah, Sam, I think you said, Bob, but Matt Corral, you didn't need 7 turnovers a day, but 1 or 2 would have helped. What'd you think of his game and how he ran the ball, took care of the ball, hit big
Thought he
plays?
played great. Thought he played great. He no turnovers. I mean, when they got a little behind us, I mean, his throws were on the money, and he's a competitor. And we couldn't get him on the ground. And anytime that we had an opportunity one-on-one to tackle him, we couldn't. And so, we knew we'd probably get a really good effort out of him, A, because we've seen that on film, and then B, because of, the situation last year when he threw, a lot of picks. But he's a competitor. He's a really, really good football player. And I want to say this too. Ole Miss got a good football team. They were ranked 17th for a reason, and I want to congratulate them. I mean, I didn't say anything about that. I just started talking about what we did wrong. But they got a good football team, and a lot of it hinges on him, on Corral, and so I want to give them credit because they scored, 52 points on us, and so they did a nice job. But he's a great leader. You can see him, you can feel his presence on the field. He's a very, very big time competitor.
And then with some of the big pass plays they hit, pump fakes, were you guys just biting on those pump fakes or eyes in the wrong spot, or what do you think maybe happened?
We were busting. I mean, on the wheel, we had a safety error, corner error they got by us 2 or 3 more times, just running by us. And then, like I say, and we've seen it on tape too, once they get behind you, guys are going to put it on the money, and that's what happened. And I think when they started really gashing us in the run game, we were trying to, early in the half, the first half, I felt like they blocked so well on the perimeter. And we were trying to get our corners and our safeties involved in the run game, and they must have seen it and started running running by us, which shouldn't happen, but it did.
Thanks.
Nate,
Yeah, Sam, just as far as both quarterbacks' ability to run, how much did that open things up for the running backs on both teams?
I thought a lot, obviously, on both sides. The running backs had big games. They had a couple over 100 yards, and we had two at 85, and then Rocket had 140 or 139. And so I think it always does, to be honest with you, Nate, when you have to, hold and hang, it freezes you on the backside a lot of times for quarterback runs, that when you hand it off, you can get some big ones because the Willie linebacker can't close the gap. And that's what happened to us a few times a day, and then it happened to them as well. But I think that's a big key, Nate.
Thank you.
Chris Hutchison.
Hey, Coach, I'm over in Jonesboro. Wanted to ask you about Jashad Stewart getting more snaps on defense this year. Where's he improved the most?
Who's that, Chris?
Stewart.
Jashad Stewart. He's always, where has he improved the most? I would say his handling his hands in the running game. He's always been a hard playing kid that, can rush the passer. Motor goes 90 miles an hour. but I think he's improved his hands in the running game. He's still got to gain some weight to not get knocked around in there. But again, I think he's understanding leverage better this year. He's very powerful off the football, and he has a relentless motor.
Tom.
Hey, Sam, Warren Thompson had a pretty big game too. I'm wondering maybe with Knox, if this could mean something for your pass catchers besides, Burks and Morris.
I hope so. We don't go into the game saying, I mean, we have packages for different guys, but we don't go in the game saying we're only, going to throw it to Burks, and so Burks gets open better whenever we have more guys on the field that can get open and make plays. And I thought with Warren being able to do that today, that's certainly going to help our throwing game. And they made some, Burks did too, so did Warren, but they made some hard catches, today, and one-on-one contested balls. And I thought they did a nice job.
And I think this is the third game in the last 4 that you don't have a takeaway. Is that something that might start being a cause of concern?
Well, sure, it is a concern. I mean, it's been a concern since, the first game. We didn't have a bunch of them, and we work on it. We work on trying to strip it and get it out of there and rally to the ball, and we pull on it, tug on it, try to hit it, knock it out. They just did a nice job of not throwing picks and hanging on to it. But yeah, certainly it's a concern.
Last one, Hutch.
Yeah, Sam, you mentioned the missed tackles earlier. You tackled so well against Texas and early in the season. Last couple of weeks, seems like there's been more missed tackles. Do you know why that is? Can you put your finger on anything?
I think we're beat up a little bit more than what, I think with bumps and bruises and broken hands and different things of that nature, that's certainly going to play a part of it, but to answer your question, we can tackle better, and we tackle, in Indy, we tackle, and we don't tackle live bodies, but we form tackle, we tackle on sleds, and we do that every Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm not positive. We got to figure it out, but it's really, it's a lot of people. It's not just 1 or 2 guys, we're banging off of legs, not wrapping up very well and getting guys on the ground. So we'll adjust it after we look at film and see what the heck going on and why we're not tackling well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
We'll get Hayden Henry and KJ in here next.